This message is to bring peace to the minds of those who are fearful about the coronavirus, COVID-19, and to enlighten with knowledge, to heighten awareness so that you don't feel powerless. You can do simple, very simple things to decrease your chances of becoming ill and increase your body's natural healing abilities by providing it with the basic things it needs for healing, like water and oxygen. We know these requirements of the body, but the truth of why has not been explained. Done mindfully, you can heal almost any disease with a few factors taken into consideration. This information is just that, information. Information requires that the listener have the desire to make use of it and the willingness to learn the necessary knowledge. This information will help put your mind at ease, and if taken and practiced in conjunction with other measures of social distancing and regular hygiene routines, is guaranteed to reduce the number of illnesses due to COVID-19. Knowledge is power, and over the millennia, knowledge was reserved for the few. Much of human history was shaped because those in power kept the masses undereducated or illiterate, and therefore subordinated to the ruling class. Our knowledge has been kept in separate boxes of speciality, making it difficult to see that the specialties are but parts of the whole. Time to connect the dots. Let us return to what we know. We know that our body, our vehicle for divine consciousness, is self-healing. Let us begin by recognizing that the human organism is self-healing. If you think about it, your personal experiences confirm for you that this is true. Those who are dying from COVID-19 have underlying chronic health issues, diagnosed or undiagnosed, which render the person less hydrated and therefore more acidic. The self-healing mechanisms at work in them require an abundance of liquid to continue with their ongoing healing processes. Hydration is the foundation of our self-healing organism, and it is an actual intervention for aging. Those who are dying with COVID-19 are dying from pneumonia, which is primarily a disease of dehydration, and here's why. Pneumonia affects the lungs. The lungs are naturally lined with a protective layer of mucus, which is part of the immune system's initial defense. The stickiness of mucus traps particulate from the air and is designed to trap airborne biological toxins like bacteria, mold, or viruses such as COVID-19. Mucus naturally contains white blood cells, special cells that analyze the foreign substances and intelligently decide whether just to eliminate them or to activate the immune response in order to build antibodies for protective immunity. In the case of pneumonia, the lungs fill with thickened mucus and make air exchange difficult. Oxygen absorption is decreased, and carbon dioxide release is hampered. When a person is dehydrated, their mucus is thicker. The thicker the mucus, the slower it moves. It is important for the mucus to have time for the cells within to do their job of building the immune system's intelligence. So it will recognize the virus or bacteria the next time that we're exposed to it and be able to eliminate it quickly and effectively. We know that young children do not yet have a fully formed immune system, and so it is interesting that very few children are dying with coronavirus. The question then becomes, why are children better equipped to build immunity to this virus? And the answer is hydration. Hydration is what the self-healing human animal needs. Children are closer to living from their true animal awareness. Children live more in the present moment. They are more true to their being. The thirst mechanism of children has not yet been converted to a sensation of hunger. When children feel thirsty, they drink. As adults, having denied our body's sensations year after year, the human animal body can predict that we will again deny the sensation of thirst. And so, intelligently, knowing that food contains liquid, the body will send messages of hunger, which we are less likely to ignore. So as we age, our thirst is translated into hunger. Yet the body's primary need is for fluid to maintain homeostasis, the balance that maintains life. Secondly, adults typically drink more caffeine in the form of coffee than children do. Although children of our consumeristic culture may fast be catching up to the levels of diuretics that adults consume, considering the consumption of colas and coffee drinks loaded with sugar for palatability, caffeinated tea, as well as other sodas that contain caffeine. Caffeine is a diuretic, yet its dehydrating effect is more influenced by the fact that when it is digested, the ash that it's broken down into is very acidic, requiring the use of the body's water stores to help neutralize. The same goes for sugar. In almost all its forms, is acidifying and therefore dehydrates. For optimal health, the drinking of liquid should be separated from eating. Ideally, we would drink to hydrate while continuing to fast upon waking. Optimally, for adults, this would be at least 3 liters, providing there isn't a diagnosis of heart failure, vascular, or kidney disease. Once the desired hydration level is achieved, then break the fast and eat. Drinking liquids with food dilutes our stomach acid. When we dilute that acid, the body must produce more acid to ensure a proper job has been done in breaking up food for nutrient absorption and to be chemically washed of pathogens such as bacteria, molds, or viruses. If more acid is needed, then more liquid is needed to neutralize the acid. Therefore, if we've drank fluids while eating, or drank during the 2 to 3 hours while chemical digestion is occurring, our body must pull more fluid to neutralize the extra acid than if we hadn't diluted the chemical digestive process. So drinking with our meal actually mildly dehydrates. We need to give the body at least 2 hours to chemically digest our food before we add liquids. There are many things that humans consume which are acidifying to the body, and disease thrives in an acidic environment. The lower the pH of your tissues, the harder the body has to work to alkalize to maintain health. Alkalinity is essential for healing. Let us simply state a few things that are alkaline promoting. Chlorophyll. The greener the plant, the healthier it is. Fresh air is almost always alkalizing. And joy. Joy produces the hormonal neurochemistry that is nourishing for the body and promotes alkalinity. The single most helpful thing for buttressing the immune system to protect against a coronavirus like COVID-19 is hydration with alkaline fluid. Other important points to be made about food and hydration are that if we are eating small frequent meals, we have acid in our stomachs all day long. This also requires more liquid to be pulled from the body to raise our pH. Daily morning fasting, as well as performing longer fasts, is important not just for maintaining a pH around 7.45, but fasting gives our intestines a chance to flush sluggish debris and to rest. It is also important to note that if we eat our food too quickly and don't properly chew our food into mush, the stomach needs to produce more acid again to digest the chunks, for the aforementioned reason of breaking it into tiny particulate, to wash the food from pathogens, and to make it small enough that the nutrients can be absorbed in the villi of our intestines to nourish the cells of our body. Along with proper hydration, moving our bodies is also of prime importance for lung health. When we move our bodies, we naturally take deeper breaths, which expands our lungs. Deep breathing exercises are great for this because lung expansion is key in decreasing the likelihood of acquiring pneumonia. Being sedentary, we take shallow breaths, which allows the bottom portions of our lungs to remain essentially stuck together. And bacteria replicates every 20 minutes, exponentially. So this warm, dark, blood-rich place, and blood is fertilizer for bacteria as well as nourishment for our cells, now becomes the perfect environment for bacteria to grow. And let us recall that pneumonia is what most people are dying from with COVID-19. Said another way, deep breathing prevents the bases of our lungs from sticking together, which is the primary cause for bacterial pneumonia and a great contributor to viral pneumonia, fluid stasis in the pulmonary tissue. Movement is so important for this reason of expanding the lungs. Movement also helps detoxify the body from foreign substances like viruses. When we move and take deeper breaths, our heart pumps faster, and it not only opens our vessels to provide more alkalizing oxygen to our cells, but the dilated vessels also help nutrient-rich blood to push through stagnation, where disease can begin. When we move, the heart pumps faster and more forcefully, which creates more positive and negative pressure exerted on the thymus, which sits very close to the heart. The heart's natural beating exerts pressure on the thymus, which regulates homeostasis. The thymus is the center storehouse for the lymphatic system, which is the throne of our immune system, the detox system of the self-healing human organism. One of the lymph system's important jobs is the transporting of toxins or pathogens from tissues for elimination. And so a key element of our body being able to detoxify or find and remove foreign substances like bacteria and viruses is having this rapid, forceful pressure of the heart beating, which pushes and pulls our lymphatic fluid. A good belly laugh has a similar effect. The heaving of the diaphragm exerts pressure that helps the thymus and the lymph detoxify the body. Love detoxifies. And interestingly, fear and love come from the same place. Fear is but a call for love, as the neurochemical oxytocin has proven. The single most essential thing that our body needs to maintain life is oxygen. Oxygen is vital for every cellular process, and oxygen buffers the blood to make it more alkaline, therefore less acidic. Note that for ease in understanding, the word acidic is used throughout, yet we are naturally alkaline. In this context, the word acidic is used to describe the lower end of the 7.35 to 7.45 homeostatic balance. Healing requires alkalinity. Oxygen raises the pH of our blood, alkalizing it. As we've learned more about COVID-19, we've discovered that putting failing patients on a ventilator earlier gives them a better chance. Here's why. A ventilator forces oxygen into the compromised lungs. The oxygen alkalizes and promotes the body's natural healing ability. While the body is working all day long to maintain homeostasis, the vast majority of healing is done at night when our internal pressures and external stressors are lowered. Here is one simple thing that you can do to give more healing power, more oxygen to your body overnight. If you are able, sleep on your left side. Sleeping on your left side gives your body more oxygen with each breath because of the intelligent design of our organs and their placement within the chest cavity. The right lung has 3 lobes, or portions, and the left lung has 2 lobes. When we sleep on our left side, the heart and liver, which are heavy organs, fall to the left side, giving more expansion room to the 3 lobes of the right lung. More alveoli surface area, more oxygenation, more alkalization, more healing. While the skin is the heaviest and largest organ of the human body, the liver is the heaviest inside the body, discounting the lymph fluid, which would outweigh the liver when we are well hydrated. Looking at a picture of the anatomy of the thoracic cavity, you will see the heart is slightly shifted toward the left side of the body, and when lying on the left side, the liver, like a puzzle piece, tucks in around the shape of the heart, providing space for the right lower lobes to expand, increasing the surface area available for air exchange. In the end, it's all about hydration and oxygenation that lead to a more alkaline state, which is the essential foundation for healing. Let us not miss this opportunity to take what we are learning to the next level, recognizing the gifts of this coronavirus. Dreams have come true for me and for you. Many people in this time have seen their longings materialize. Here are some examples. First, children wishing for their parents to be home, spending more time with them. Secondly, creative people are out of work and have the time they longed for to let their creativity flow. And last but not least, those who felt sorrow, the Great Depression over the state of the world, can now see hope, knowing things are about to radically change. To quote the American philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson, "There is always some leveling circumstance that puts down the overbearing, the strong, the rich, the fortunate, substantially on the same ground with all others." As we are now seeing and feeling the truth of, we are all in this together. To recap, cause of death with COVID-19 is prominently pneumonia, which is primarily a disease of chronic dehydration, which leads to acidosis. Hydration is the foundation for our self-healing organism. Oxygen is essential for all bodily functions. To increase healing oxygen quantities at night, sleep on your left side. Deep breathing brings in more oxygen and helps alkalize as well as detoxify. Joy creates alkalizing neurochemistry. Laughter helps to detoxify. Drinking while eating dilutes stomach acid and therefore leads to mild temporary dehydration. Stop drinking 25 minutes before eating anything. Do not drink while eating. Chew food into mush before swallowing to avoid need for excess acid. Do not drink for 2 to 3 hours after eating. Hydrate in the morning and refrain from eating for as long as is comfortable to do so during a day. You have free will and can choose that which you wish to do. Knowledge is power. This is a beginning. With your attention to this knowledge, your body will speak its gratitude, and you will hear it and know because of how you feel. As we practice what we've learned here, our minds will be free from fear as we remember what is clear. We share everything here. To help yourself, have conversations with others about the material presented here. And to help others, I ask that you spread this to decrease the spread of COVID-19. Thank you for your attention. Truth is our savior. Everything exists in language as agreement. Yet what is the truth that is beyond everything is the force that enables all. This is the truth about us, that we are all united by the force of creation in us all. Science is aptly poised to reveal this truth. Things shift because of the observer's perception. Let us return to the awareness of language, which houses concepts such as dispossession, slavery, addiction, military, zoonotic disease, and consumption conflated with the murder of the planet. And let us look honestly at the origin of these afflictions of the human race. Agriculture is the birthplace of them all. Agriculture is the birthplace of dispossession, depriving people of land, property, or possessions, which equals poverty. Agriculture is the birthplace of the military. Stored grain now needs police using violence to prevent the theft of grain that slaves cultivated for the empire. Agriculture is the birthplace of slavery because it takes great effort, intense labor, to work against the forces of nature, to eradicate whole living communities, to grow one crop when nature exists as a diverse web of interconnectivity. Agriculture is the birthplace of addiction. We believe grain was the first thing cultivated. Grains equal carbohydrates, which equals sugar, which is the world's oldest addiction. Because we just want to feel good, and sugar releases dopamine. Agriculture is the birthplace of zoonotic diseases. Bacteria, parasites, or viruses transmitted from animals to humans, because population density ensures many hosts. Examples: Ebola, SARS, which is coronavirus 1, and COVID-19, which is SARS coronavirus 2. Agriculture is the birthplace of consumption in destruction. Destruction of the natural living world for us to consume its bounty and beauty, and consumption of carbohydrates at rates which are murderous. The rights and needs of humans are not more important than those of other living things, other living beings. Biocentrism is the focus with which to move away from human supremacy, to enable the natural living world to self-heal. Lenin said revolution is impossible without a global crisis affecting both the exploited and the exploiters. And he also said there are decades when nothing happens, and weeks where decades happen. Divorce from dependence. Divorce from dependence on the interrelated systems of oppression that enslave us to work for money in order to exist. Divorcing but reframing globalist institutions. divorcing the fear that is propagated with our belief and discussion about it. Revolution begins with people talking. Revolution begins with conversation about truth. Now is the time, and you have the time now. This celestial being, our heavenly body, planet Earth, is waiting now.